Amor Fati, a Latin phrase meaning love of fate, is a central concept in the Stoic philosophy, urging individuals to embrace everything that happens in their lives, both the good and the bad, as necessary components of their existence. Rather than merely accepting fate with resignation, Amor Fati encourages the active love of whatever life brings, seeing each event, whether joyous or painful, as an opportunity for growth, learning, and self-improvement. This mindset is not about passive complacency or giving up on striving for change, but about recognizing that the universe operates in a way that is beyond our complete control, and that the events which unfold, no matter how challenging, are part of a larger, coherent whole. By cultivating Amor Fati, individuals can develop resilience, inner peace, and a deeper sense of purpose, as they learn to align their will with the natural flow of life rather than constantly fighting against it. At the heart of Amor Fati is the Stoic understanding of control. The Stoics, particularly philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, emphasized the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. According to this view, we can control our thoughts, actions, and responses, but we cannot control external events, such as the actions of others, the circumstances of our birth, natural disasters, or even our own death. Amor Fati takes this insight a step further by suggesting that instead of merely accepting the things we cannot control, we should embrace them as necessary and beneficial parts of our journey. This doesn't mean that suffering or hardship is inherently good, but rather that these experiences can be transformative if we approach them with the right mindset. For the Stoics, Amor Fati is deeply tied to their belief in the rational order of the cosmos. They viewed the universe as a well-ordered system governed by reason and natural laws, where everything happens for a reason, even if that reason is not immediately apparent to us. When we face difficulties, setbacks, or tragedies, it is easy to feel as though life is unfair or meaningless. However, through the lens of Amor Fati, we are encouraged to trust that whatever happens is part of the larger, rational structure of the universe. By loving our fate, we acknowledge that we are not separate from the world but are intricately connected to it, and that everything we experience is part of our role in the grander scheme of things. In this way, Amor Fati encourages a sense of acceptance, not as a form of defeat, but as a way of harmonizing with life's unfolding. The concept of Amor Fati is often associated with the writings of the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. In his meditations, Marcus repeatedly reflects on the importance of aligning oneself with nature and accepting whatever comes with equanimity. He writes, "Accept the things to which fate binds you." This Stoic wisdom has resonated with many thinkers throughout history, including the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who famously adopted the idea of Amor Fati in his own philosophy. Nietzsche saw Amor Fati as a way of affirming life in its totality, including its suffering and hardship. In his work Ecce Homo, he writes, "My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it. All idealism is mendacity in the face of what is necessary, but love it." For Nietzsche, Amor Fati was a radical affirmation of life, an attitude that fully embraces the reality of existence, with all its imperfections and challenges. Rather than wishing for a different life or a different set of circumstances, Nietzsche's Amor Fati calls for loving one's life exactly as it is, without regret, resentment, or longing for something else. This approach to life has profound implications for how we deal with adversity. In moments of hardship, it is natural to wish for things to be different, to imagine how life would be better if we hadn't faced a particular loss, failure, or disappointment. However, Amor Fati teaches us that this kind of thinking is ultimately counterproductive because it focuses on what is beyond our control and fosters a sense of dissatisfaction. By practicing Amor Fati, we shift our focus from what could have been to what is, and from what we lack to what we can learn from our current situation. This shift in perspective can be incredibly empowering because it encourages us to find meaning and purpose in the very circumstances we might otherwise resist. One of the core benefits of Amor Fati is the cultivation of resilience. When we love our fate, we stop seeing adversity as something to be avoided or lamented, and instead, we view it as an integral part of our growth. This doesn't mean that we deny the pain or difficulty of challenging experiences, but we learn to approach them with a sense of acceptance and curiosity. Adversity, in this view, becomes a teacher, offering us the opportunity to develop virtues such as patience, courage, and wisdom. By embracing the hardships in our lives, we become more resilient, less prone to being overwhelmed by circumstances, and better equipped to face future challenges with grace. Moreover, Amor Fati helps to foster a sense of inner peace. Much of our suffering comes not from external events themselves but from our resistance to them. When we resist what is happening in our lives, whether it's a job loss, a breakup, or an illness, we create additional layers of mental and emotional suffering by wishing things were different. Amor Fati invites us to let go of this resistance and to embrace life as it is, with all its unpredictability and imperfection. This acceptance can lead to a profound sense of peace. This Stoic wisdom has resonated with many thinkers throughout history, including the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who famously adopted the idea of Amor Fati in his own philosophy. Nietzsche saw Amor Fati as a way of affirming life in its totality, including its suffering and hardship. In his work Ecce Homo, he writes, "My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it. All idealism is mendacity in the face of what is necessary, but love it." For Nietzsche, Amor Fati was a radical affirmation of life, an attitude that fully embraces the reality of existence, with all its imperfections and challenges. Rather than wishing for a different life or a different set of circumstances, Nietzsche's Amor Fati calls for loving one's life exactly as it is, without regret, resentment, or longing for something else. This approach to life has profound implications for how we deal with adversity. In moments of hardship, it is natural to wish for things to be different, to imagine how life would be better if we hadn't faced a particular loss, failure, or disappointment. However, Amor Fati teaches us that this kind of thinking is ultimately counterproductive because it focuses on what is beyond our control and fosters a sense of dissatisfaction. By practicing Amor Fati, we shift our focus from what could have been to what is, and from what we lack to what we can learn from our current situation. This shift in perspective can be incredibly empowering because it encourages us to find meaning and purpose in the very circumstances we might otherwise resist. One of the core benefits of Amor Fati is the cultivation of resilience. When we love our fate, we stop seeing adversity as something to be avoided or lamented, and instead, we view it as an integral part of our growth. This doesn't mean that we deny the pain or difficulty of challenging experiences, but we learn to approach them with a sense of acceptance and curiosity. Adversity, in this view, becomes a teacher, offering us the opportunity to develop virtues such as patience, courage, and wisdom. By embracing the hardships in our lives, we become more resilient, less prone to being overwhelmed by circumstances, and better equipped to face future challenges with grace. Moreover, Amor Fati helps to foster a sense of inner peace. Much of our suffering comes not from external events themselves but from our resistance to them. When we resist what is happening in our lives, whether it's a job loss, a breakup, or an illness, we create additional layers of mental and emotional suffering by wishing things were different. Amor Fati invites us to let go of this resistance and to embrace life as it is, with all its unpredictability and imperfection. This acceptance can lead to a profound sense of peace. Continuing the exploration of Amor Fati, the concept extends beyond personal resilience and individual challenges to encompass an entire worldview that shapes how one interacts with the world, society, and the people in it. The idea of loving one's fate is not just about enduring personal hardship with grace, but also about accepting the broader circumstances of life, including the unpredictability of the world, the inevitability of change, and the actions of others. By applying Amor Fati to these external forces, we can cultivate a deeper sense of harmony with the universe and a more compassionate, understanding approach to the people around us. One of the most challenging aspects of practicing Amor Fati is accepting the actions of others, especially when they negatively affect us. It is easy to become frustrated, angry, or resentful when other people behave in ways that harm or inconvenience us. However, Amor Fati encourages us to recognize that just as our own lives unfold according to a complex web of causes and effects, so too do the lives of others. People act according to their own circumstances, experiences, and motivations, many of which are beyond our control. By embracing Amor Fati, we learn to accept the actions of others as part of the broader flow of life, rather than taking them personally or viewing them as intentional affronts. This doesn't mean that we should passively allow others to mistreat us or that we should condone harmful behavior. Rather, it means that we should approach the actions of others with understanding and compassion, recognizing that, like us, they are navigating their own challenges and circumstances. When we accept that we cannot control the behavior of others, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to change them or feeling responsible for their actions. This acceptance fosters a sense of peace and allows us to focus on what we can control, our own responses and actions. By practicing Amor Fati in our relationships, we can develop a more forgiving, compassionate attitude toward others, which in turn strengthens our ability to maintain inner peace in the face of external challenges. Moreover, practicing Amor Fati in relation to the broader world helps us to navigate societal and global challenges with greater resilience. The world is often unpredictable, filled with political upheavals, economic crises, natural disasters, and other large-scale events that are beyond any individual's control. It is easy to feel overwhelmed or powerless in the face of these challenges, especially when they disrupt our personal lives or cause suffering. However, Amor Fati invites us to view these events as part of the natural unfolding of life, even if we do not fully understand the reasons behind them. By accepting the world's unpredictability and embracing the fact that we are part of a vast, interconnected system, we can cultivate a sense of calm in the face of uncertainty. This Stoic perspective does not suggest that we should be indifferent to the suffering of others or disengage from the world's problems. On the contrary, Amor Fati encourages us to take action where we can and to contribute positively to the world. However, it also teaches us to let go of the illusion of complete control. We do not control the outcomes of our actions, nor do we control the larger forces at play in the world. By embracing Amor Fati, we can engage with the world from a place of acceptance and purpose, rather than fear or frustration. This mindset allows us to act with integrity and compassion while remaining grounded in the recognition that the world will continue to unfold in ways that are often beyond our understanding or influence. In a broader philosophical sense, Amor Fati can be seen as an antidote to modern anxieties about control, perfection, and success. In contemporary society, there is often immense pressure to achieve certain outcomes, whether in terms of career success, personal happiness, or social status. People are bombarded with messages that suggest they should always strive for more, that they should be able to control their destinies, and that any failure or setback is a sign of personal inadequacy. This mindset creates a constant sense of dissatisfaction and anxiety, as individuals feel that they must continually fight against the world to achieve their desired outcomes. Amor Fati offers a radical alternative to this mindset by suggesting that true peace and fulfillment come not from controlling the world or achieving external success but from embracing life as it is. When we love our fate, we stop measuring our happiness and worth by external standards or outcomes. Instead, we find contentment in the process of living itself, in the daily practice of aligning our will with the flow of life. This does not mean giving up on our goals or aspirations, but it does mean approaching them with a sense of detachment from the outcome. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, we free ourselves from the anxiety of trying to control the uncontrollable. This allows us to pursue our goals with greater clarity and purpose, without being enslaved by the fear of failure or the desire for perfection. Nietzsche's interpretation of Amor Fati also deepens this philosophical approach to life. For Nietzsche, Amor Fati is not just about acceptance but about a radical embrace of life in its entirety. He envisioned this as a kind of joyous affirmation of existence, where one not only accepts but actively loves every aspect of life, including its suffering and tragedy. Nietzsche saw this as the highest form of human greatness, the ability to say yes to life, not in spite of its difficulties but because of them. To Nietzsche, Amor Fati was about embracing the eternal recurrence of all things, the idea that if one were to live their life over and over again, they would choose to live. This idea of eternal recurrence pushes Amor Fati to its logical extreme, asking us to reflect deeply on our relationship to life. If we were to live our lives repeatedly, would we want things to be any different? Could we truly embrace every moment, every event, without wishing for something else? Nietzsche's challenge to love one's fate in this way is not about passive acceptance but about a profound, life-affirming stance that celebrates existence in all its complexity. It requires a complete transformation of how we view suffering, not as something to be avoided or regretted, but as an integral and valuable part of the human experience. In practical terms, embracing Amor Fati can transform how we approach everyday life. Every day presents us with challenges, disappointments, and opportunities for growth. By practicing Amor Fati, we learn to see each moment, whether pleasant or painful, as a necessary part of our journey. Instead of resisting what happens to us or wishing for things to be different, we can cultivate gratitude for the present moment and the lessons it offers. This doesn't mean that we won't experience pain or hardship, but it does mean that we can approach these experiences with a sense of openness and acceptance, trusting that they are part of the larger flow of life. One practical way to cultivate Amor Fati is through mindfulness and reflection. By regularly reflecting on our experiences and how they fit into the larger context of our lives, we can begin to see patterns and meaning in what might initially seem like random or unfortunate events. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation or journaling, can help us become more aware of our habitual reactions to life's challenges and give us the space to respond more thoughtfully. Instead of immediately resisting or judging what happens, we can pause, reflect, and choose to embrace the situation as it is. Over time, this practice can help us develop a deeper sense of trust in the process of life and a greater ability to love our fate, even when it doesn't align with our expectations. Amor Fati is a deeply transformative philosophy that extends far beyond personal resilience to encompass a compassionate and harmonious way of engaging with the world. By embracing life in its entirety, both its joys and its hardships, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace, resilience, and gratitude. Amor Fati teaches us to let go of the need for control and perfection, allowing us to live more fully in the present moment and to engage with the world from a place of acceptance and purpose. Whether through personal challenges, relationships, or global events, Amor Fati offers a powerful framework for living with courage, compassion, and a deep love for the unfolding of life exactly as it is. Amor Fati, a Latin phrase meaning love of fate, is a central concept in Stoic philosophy that encapsulates the idea of embracing all aspects of life, both the good and the bad, as essential to one's existence. This acceptance of fate encourages individuals to welcome every experience, challenge, and circumstance with open arms, recognizing that each moment contributes to the overall tapestry of life. The philosophy of Amor Fati invites a profound shift in perspective, transforming the way we approach adversity, uncertainty, and even joy. At its core, Amor Fati represents an attitude of radical acceptance. Rather than resisting or resenting the events that unfold in our lives, Stoicism teaches us to acknowledge them as necessary elements of our journey. This perspective encourages individuals to see challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities for growth and learning. By adopting an attitude of Amor Fati, individuals can cultivate resilience, understanding that setbacks and difficulties are integral to personal development. This acceptance fosters a sense of peace, allowing individuals to navigate life's unpredictability with grace and composure. The concept of Amor Fati can be traced back to the writings of the Stoic philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who interpreted it as a call to embrace one's life in its entirety. Nietzsche argued that for one to truly live, they must not only accept fate but also love it. This radical affirmation of life emphasizes the importance of living authentically, where every experience, whether joyous or painful, is embraced as an essential part of one's existence. This view encourages individuals to take ownership of their lives, understanding that every moment contributes to their growth and identity. A practical application of Amor Fati involves reframing our relationship with adversity. When faced with challenges, individuals often react with frustration, anger, or despair. However, by adopting the principle of Amor Fati, one can shift this reaction toward acceptance and curiosity. Rather than asking, "Why is this happening to me?" individuals can inquire, "What can I learn from this experience?" This shift in mindset fosters resilience, enabling individuals to approach difficulties with an open heart and a willingness to adapt. It encourages a proactive stance, where individuals actively seek meaning in their struggles and recognize the potential for growth that arises from adversity. Furthermore, Amor Fati promotes a deep sense of gratitude. By embracing fate as it is, individuals learn to appreciate the present moment and the experiences that shape their lives. This gratitude extends beyond positive experiences, it encompasses all events, including those that may initially seem negative. By cultivating a mindset of appreciation, individuals can find beauty and meaning in the most challenging circumstances. This perspective fosters emotional stability, as individuals learn to detach from the need. Continuing the exploration of Amor Fati, it is important to delve deeper into its implications for mental well-being and personal development. The philosophy of loving one's fate not only fosters resilience but also enhances overall life satisfaction by cultivating a positive mindset that embraces uncertainty and change. One significant aspect of Amor Fati is its potential for reducing anxiety and stress. In a world where individuals often feel overwhelmed by the pressures of modern life, ranging from career demands to personal expectations, the acceptance of fate provides a liberating perspective. By recognizing that many factors are beyond their control, individuals can alleviate the burden of trying to manipulate outcomes. This acceptance can lead to a more relaxed approach to life, where stressors are viewed through a lens of curiosity rather than fear. When individuals learn to let go of the need for certainty and control, they can experience a profound sense of peace, allowing them to focus on what truly matters, their actions and responses in the present moment. Moreover, the practice of Amor Fati encourages a growth mindset. By embracing all experiences as opportunities for learning, individuals can cultivate a more adaptive approach to challenges. This mindset fosters a willingness to take risks and step outside of comfort zones. When failures or setbacks are seen not as endpoints but as valuable lessons, individuals are more likely to engage in new experiences and pursue their passions without fear of judgment. This approach not only enhances personal growth but also leads to greater fulfillment, as individuals align their actions with their authentic selves. In the realm of creativity, Amor Fati can serve as a powerful catalyst. Many artists, writers, and creators face self-doubt and fear of criticism, which can stifle their creativity. By adopting the principle of loving their fate, these individuals can free themselves from the constraints of perfectionism. When the focus shifts from seeking approval to embracing the process of creation, regardless of the outcome, artists can explore their creativity more fully. This liberation allows for greater experimentation and innovation, as individuals learn to appreciate the journey of creation rather than fixating solely on the final product. Additionally, Amor Fati fosters a sense of interconnectedness with the world. By embracing fate, individuals come to recognize that their experiences are part of a larger narrative. This understanding cultivates empathy and compassion, as individuals appreciate that everyone faces their own struggles and triumphs. This shared human experience can deepen relationships and promote a sense of community, as people connect over their common challenges. Embracing Amor Fati can lead to a more supportive and understanding society, where individuals uplift one another rather than compete or criticize. The concept also has profound implications for leadership and personal influence. Leaders who embody Amor Fati can create environments that encourage acceptance and resilience within their teams. By modeling acceptance of both successes and failures, leaders can foster a culture of learning and growth. This approach not only enhances team cohesion but also empowers individuals to take ownership of their work, knowing that their contributions are valued regardless of external outcomes. In this way, Amor Fati becomes a guiding principle for creating resilient organizations that thrive in the face of challenges. Furthermore, the integration of Amor Fati into daily life can enhance mindfulness practices. By consciously embracing each moment as it comes, individuals can cultivate a heightened awareness of their surroundings and experiences. This practice aligns closely with mindfulness, where the focus is on being present and accepting thoughts and feelings without judgment. When individuals practice Amor Fati, they learn to appreciate the richness of life in its entirety, savoring moments of joy while also accepting pain and disappointment. This holistic approach fosters emotional intelligence and enhances overall well-being. Amor Fati serves as a transformative philosophy that encourages individuals to embrace life's complexities with love and acceptance. By adopting this mindset, individuals can cultivate resilience, reduce anxiety, and enhance their overall quality of life. The practice of loving one's fate empowers individuals to view challenges as opportunities for growth, fostering creativity and deeper relationships. Moreover, it encourages a sense of interconnectedness, promoting empathy and compassion within communities. As we integrate the principles of Amor Fati into our daily lives, we learn to navigate existence with grace, embracing both the highs and lows of the human experience. Ultimately, Amor Fati invites us to celebrate life in all its forms, recognizing that each moment contributes to the unique tapestry of our journey. Through this acceptance, we find not only resilience but also profound joy in the unfolding of our lives. Amor Fati, a Latin phrase meaning love of fate, encapsulates a profound Stoic concept that calls for embracing and accepting all aspects of life, both the favorable and the unfavorable, with a deep sense of love and gratitude. Rooted in the teachings of Stoic philosophy, Amor Fati invites individuals to cultivate a mindset of acceptance, resilience, and inner peace by learning to not only endure but to wholeheartedly embrace the circumstances that unfold in their lives. At the core of Amor Fati lies the recognition that every event, experience, and outcome in life is interconnected and part of a larger cosmic order. By embracing this perspective, individuals can learn to view setbacks, challenges, and even tragedies as integral components of a broader tapestry of existence, each playing a role in shaping their character, resilience, and growth. Rather than resisting or resenting the twists and turns of fate, practicing Amor Fati involves welcoming them with open arms, seeing them as opportunities for learning, adaptation, and self-transformation. Moreover, Amor Fati encourages individuals to relinquish their attachment to specific outcomes and to cultivate a profound acceptance of the present moment. By letting go of desires for things to be different than they are, individuals can free themselves from the burden of expectations and regrets, finding peace and contentment in the here and now. This practice of surrendering to the flow of life, with all its uncertainties and complexities, empowers individuals to navigate challenges with grace, to savor moments of joy with gratitude, and to embrace the totality of their existence with a sense of deep fulfillment. In essence, Amor Fati is a guiding principle that invites individuals to cultivate a reverent attitude towards the unfolding of their lives, to find beauty and meaning in every experience, and to approach both triumphs and tribulations with a spirit of acceptance and gratitude. By practicing Amor Fati, individuals can cultivate a profound sense of inner peace, resilience, and equanimity that enables them to navigate life's vicissitudes with wisdom, courage, and grace. This Stoic concept serves as a beacon of inspiration for embracing the full spectrum of human experience, finding value in every moment, and cultivating a profound love for the intricate dance of fate that shapes our lives.